On this episode of From the Bayou to the World is the great tomato sauce debate. Courtboullion versus sauce piquant. This is going to be a good one. I'm telling y'all, come on in. The coffee's on, baby. Welcome to From the Bayou to the World. I'm Kurt. This is my kitchen. Come on in, grab a seat. Tonight we're doing the great tomato sauce debate. A Courtboullion versus a sauce piquant. What's the difference? What makes one the other? Where they come from? How they act towards one another? Do they stick their tongues out at each other? Who's right? Who's wrong? They're two different dishes that share some similarities, but they come from different places. So we're going to talk about that, but we're going to use two different proteins because one lends itself more to one than the other. Sauce piquant, we're going to use a chicken. And for the Courtboullion, we're going to use some goldfish or fish, any fish you want. It needs to be a meaty fish, though. The meatier, the better. And the reason why is a Courtboullion is a soup, much like a gumbo is a soup. A sauce piquant, the name gives it away. It's a sauce. So it's thicker, richer, it cooks longer, and all the rest of it. We have some beautiful ingredients that's going to go in it, but this is two really simple dishes that we're going to do a couple different things, but we're going to show you the traditional ways too. And for those of you who knew my dad passed away a couple years ago, but he was the best at making a tomato gravy, whether it be a hen sauce piquant or a yellow cat Courtboullion, spotted cat Courtboullion. He was absolute in the gravy. He was absolutely the best at it. So Dad, this one's for you. We got to thank Gilbert's Greatest. Makers of Louisiana love. If you are not cooking with Louisiana love, your tomato gravy isn't as good as it could be. Now, so that's that. We're going to take a little break. We're going to clean this up. When y'all come back, we're going to get to cooking and cutting, and we're going to talk some more about these two fantastic Cajun dishes. We'll see you in a couple of minutes. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to From the Bayou to the World. I'm Kurt. Just had a little bit of coffee right there. Yo, come on in. Sit down. Grab a seat. We're doing tomato gravy. So Courtboullion versus sauce piquant. So what's the real difference? So Courtboullion is traditionally a French dish. It comes from France. And in the very fancy, like that fancy French restaurants where you got a whole like that, it's Courtboullion. So Courtboullion, for those of us that live in the boot. And it's thinner. It's more of a soup. Okay, now it's served over rice. They're both served over rice, which is fantastic. But traditionally, Courtbouillons are thinner and they're more of a soup. Sauce piquant is actually Spanish in origin. Picante, piquant. And a piquant is something that sticks. It gets its name from the acid that's in the tomato. When you take a bite, it's sharp. It sticks. But we're going to get around that. I don't like a very acidic anything, really, unless it's a vinaigrette dressing. But we're going to get around that, and I'm going to show you a couple ways. And actually, if you taste a really good sauce piquant, it's not sharp at all. It's just really good. It's really good stuff. So let's get into it. I'll put some of this to the side. Let's talk about how we thicken it. So listen, if you're doing Italian food, you use tomato paste to thicken your red sauce, your gravy, your tomato sauce. That's not going to play well here because we're trying to, like I said, calm down that acidic, those overtones, and tomato paste is going to add more of that. It'll give us a longer cook time. So we definitely don't want to use that. What we can use is a little bit of dark roux. And if you watched our roux episode, you know this has a strong foothold in Cajun and Creole cooking. So we can use a little bit of dark roux, and that will go in our sauce piquant. And we're going to use it in our sauce piquant because the heavy protein of the chicken, and I'm going to put a little sausage in mine, which is non-traditional, but we'll get to that. The heavy flavors of that protein in chicken can take on the roux's flavor. It's assertive. Now, we don't put a lot, just enough to give us a little color and knock off the sharpness of that tomato product. So not a whole bunch. For the Courtboullion, we don't want to use something as assertive as dark roux. That's all we're going to taste, and our fish won't come through. So we got our little mason jar right here, and we're going to do some flour and water and shake it up like my daddy used to do. Shake it up like that, and you pour it in there. And what that is a slurry. We've talked about slurries many times, and that's what this is. When you're choosing your fish, you want something meaty. Now, this is garfish. Now, garfish is probably about 1.2 to 1.3 million year old species. They're dinosaurs. They've been around for a long, long time, and they've survived just like alligators and crocodiles. But if you look at this fish, come here, tight Matt. Let's look. You see those circles, those muscle groups. That is a working animal. Okay, so that's really meaty and firm, and that's what you want. If you use something real tender like brim or sac-a-lait or even bass, by the time it cooks, it's going to end up falling apart, you know. You want something that you could sit in there for a good 20 to 25 minutes and not worry about it just disintegrating. So something really meaty. Now, my dad always used spotted cat or yellow cat, and he would cut across the back and he'd have the bones in. And using the bones is fantastic. I just happen to have some garfish steaks right here. And you can get garfish at some of your local seafood stores. They don't sell it too much in the large grocery stores. But a real meaty fish. You could even use a saltwater fish like a red snapper or ling or something like that. It just needs to be something that has some substance to it, okay? So let's cut up a chicken. Let's cut up a chicken. So there's a lot of ways to do it. You just can't beat these things. These are kitchen shears. They're called two-part kitchen shears because they come apart in two pieces like this for easy cleaning. One fits inside the other. But you can see from the thickness of the metal, these are very heavy. These are heavy metal shears, and they're designed to do what I'm fixing to do. So, cut a chicken. You cut through the back. Charlie's getting excited. Cut through the back. See how easy that is? Why you want to fight with a knife? Now, I cut the backs out, and I save them to make stock, just like whenever I'm doing a spatchcock chicken. But you can do whatever you want. But that's about the only part I'm gonna take out. And the reason why I'm taking it out is all those little vertebrae, all these little bones, that's going to end up falling apart. I don't really want that in my sauce. I'm going to just put it right here. Then we're going to come in right here, and we're going to cut right into the thigh. And then you're going to find right here on the point, if you could see where it makes a point right there, that's where your joint is. Snip. And then on the other side. And there you go. Now you have a thigh and a leg. Put that to the side. For the wing joint, same thing. You're going to go under the arm. That's where you put the deodorant. Cut right into, you're going to find that joint. See, no, you're not cutting bone. You're just cutting through the cartilage. Wing. Now, normally I would take these tips off, but I want to keep them because I want that flavor. And then for the breast, we just go right up the keel bone. And then through the breast meat. Now, because this chicken is so large, I'm going to go ahead and cut it again. I mean, look at the size of this thing. This is a monster. I'm going to cut it right across the breast again, and that's going to give us, instead of 8 pieces, we're going to have 10 pieces to our chicken. And that's it. I'm going to do that to the other side. But hey, we're going to take a little break. When you come back, we're going to start browning chicken, and we're going to cut up our sausage, and we're going to talk more about the great tomato sauce debate. But you got to come on back. We'll see you in a couple minutes. Welcome back to From the Bayou to the World. It's Kurt. Y'all come on in, grab a seat, get your cup of coffee. We're talking about sauce piquant versus Courtboullion, the differences, this, that, the other. So you hear that hissing and cussing and fussing in the back. We got our chicken browning off in the pot. So we're doing a chicken, and I'm going to add some smoked sausage into mine. not normal, not a traditional addition to a sauce piquante, but I'm going to add it because I want that smoked flavor to come in. I want the richness from the pork meat to add to that red gravy. So if you notice, we put the chicken in unseasoned. And we talked about this whenever we did our brown gravy episode, where we talked about browning meats seasoned versus unseasoned. I go both sides, but right now I'm on the non-seasoned side because I think you're browning the seasoning. So like Louisiana Love and a lot of seasonings out there, the paprika, if you're using the right paprika, it has a high oil content, and that oil is going to help to brown the paprika, not necessarily the meat. I want the proteins from the meat to brown. That's what I'm going for. I want the skin to brown. So that's what I'm going for. So I didn't do that. Didn't season the chicken. But I'm going to season the garfish because I'm not going to brown the garfish. The garfish is going to go into the gravy raw once the gravy is established. So I'm not going to get a chance to season it if I don't do it then. And if I season just the sauce, it's not going to make its way in like it will with the chicken because that chicken's going to cook for a lot longer. So there's the two differences. Let's talk about our vegetables. So we have, onions, garlic, pepper. So I'm not a big fan of bell pepper. They fall apart. They don't really have that much flavor. The skins are kind of, they're tough, cellophane-like. I just don't care for them much. This is a poblano pepper. I love these boogers. These are fantastic. They have excellent flavor, a little bit of heat, not too much. Sometimes you'll get one that make you whistle a little bit, but this one's, for the most part, they're fine. They have a very firm texture. They stand up well to long cook times, and they're just a much, much better pepper. So again, I'm going to add this to the chicken, but not the fish, because I don't want this flavor to overtake the fish. The tomato sauce is going to be pronounced enough in the fish dish that I don't want to keep adding strong flavor and strong flavor and strong flavor. I want the flavor of the fish to come through, and I don't want things competing, and that's what's going to end up happening. So I'm not going to put that. But listen, if you want to put bell pepper, poblano pepper, any other kind of pepper, you go right ahead. I am going to put onions and garlic in both of them. So let's do a little bit of that. Got a couple, pre-did a little bit of garlic right here. We're going to add to it. Got a couple cloves of garlic. You know how this goes. You give it the old smash. Take the skins off. Just like that. Then we're going to smash them again using the broadside of the knife and the heel of your hand. So listen, whenever you're doing this, sometimes this gets slippery. Don't press down hard with this hand. This is just a rest, like this, on the broadside of the blade, heel of the hand, smack. That's it. That's all you're looking for. And then we're going to go to town. We're going to run our knife through it. We call this milling. How fine? We're going for chopped garlic, not minced garlic. There's a big difference. We'll cover that in another episode. But basically, we're just going to pile it up on itself, run your knife through a couple of times, and you're done. Scoop it up with your knife, put it in your container. Be careful when you do that, that you don't curl that finger around and catch the edge of the blade. Onions. So we talk about this. You see people that cut like this and then like this. There's really no need to. Onions, they're already layered, so there's no need to do that. Keep the root side on the onion so it holds everything together. Straight down, about 1/4-inch slices. And then turn it 90 degrees. Curl those fingers. Use the claw. Curl those fingers. Rest the knife against your finger. Straight down. 1, 2. Just like that. Save that for stock. One more. Comme ça. No, I'm going to use my hands instead of the knife for this. It's a lot to do. like that. And then the poblano, I'll leave the stem on, go right down the middle, and then just take the seeds out. Take the seeds and stems out in one piece. Tap those seeds out. So when you're cutting the pepper, you kind of want to cut with the skin side up because the skin's usually the toughest part. And if you cut it like this, you may not make it all the way through, see? But if you cut it skin side up, you're going to cut the skin first. So that way you're sure to get through the skin every time. Cut it into strips, turn it 90 degrees. Oh, that pepper smells good. Man, does that smell good. And that's it. So there we go, guys. After we finish browning our chicken, we're going to deglaze our pan, and then we're going to introduce our vegetables. Actually, we're going to brown our onions along with everything else. Then we're going to deglaze our pan and introduce the rest of our vegetables. But come on back. We still got to talk about the fish, the poisson. We'll see you in a couple minutes. Come on back now. Welcome back to From the Bayou to the World. It is, Lord, it smells good up in here. Matt is drooling where he's at right there. Man, it's good. So, hey, let's kind of catch you up. So, we browned off our onions and our poblano peppers. We introduced our garlic. We deglazed with a little bit of red wine, which is non-traditional, but I like the flavor that it gives. You could use water, no problem. We added 2 29-ounce cans into our large pot for our chicken and sausage sauce piquant. The courtboullion, we sauteed the onions, but only till clear. Don't want to brown them. And then we added our garlic for a couple minutes after that. Then we did 1 29-ounce can that we put in a small pot. We brought it up to a simmer. And now we're going to season our fish. Oh, and before I forget, we didn't talk about pot temperature. So remember, one of the secrets to really great cooking and browning is you got to warm your pot up. So we put our pot with just a little sheen of oil at the bottom on a low fire for about 5 minutes while we were chopping up our vegetables or doing a little bit of prep work. Not hot enough to start smoking, not hot enough to start crackling, just to warm everything up. So then it was time to start browning. All of our pot, the whole vessel was nice and hot. That's really important. We didn't have to do that for the courtboullion because we're not browning anything. So that's really only for browning. So, hey, let's season up our beautiful garfish right here. Look at this, boy. These some beautiful garfish steaks. My daughter's going to be so happy. My daughter and my son-in-law had gone fishing. They gave me that. Daddy, you want some? I said, well, yeah, I want some. So she's been asking me ever since, use the garfish, use the garfish. Well, I'm using it on the show, babe. So now, how about that? So both sides. So again, the reason why we season our garfish, the meat, and not the chicken is because this is going to have a much shorter cook time. And I'm not going to have a chance to infuse the flavor into it. So just like that. So let's thicken up our courtboullion. So if you see here, it looks, Kurt, that looks pretty thick, man. Yeah, it kind of is. But the fish is going to release a lot of water. So what we have here is flour and water. We just put it in a little jar, shook it up, made a paste. So we're going to add a little bit of this right into our sauce. Okay. Make sure you stir while you're doing this because it'll form a lump right in the middle. So all in all, about 2 tablespoons of this mixture will go in this pot, and we can adjust this, right? So we have this right now. We're gonna let it cook for a couple minutes. Anytime you add a thickening agent to a liquid, you have to let it return to the boil before it reaches its full thickening power. So we're gonna let that simmer for a couple minutes. Then we're gonna drop our fillets in. We're gonna add a little bit of our dark roux. Remember we talked about dark roux? I'm going to add about 3 tablespoons of dark roux to our sauce piquant because we want that roux flavor to help tone down the acidity of the tomato sauce. So just right in the liquid, just like you would be making a gumbo or anything else. Speaking of color, look at the color of this thing, y'all. That's what you want, a nice rusty color. Rusty. Not red, not bright red. Now, the Courtboullion is going to be a lighter, almost a pinkish color, and that's the color you want for that. But this beautiful sauce piquant, look at that dark. Oh my God, that's magnificent. So we're going to let that cook, and we're going to settle the great debate: sauce piquant versus Courtboullion. When you come back, it's our favorite time. It's time to eat. We're going to have both plates side by side. We're going to take a little bit of each. You got to come back and take a look. Fish versus chicken. Courtboullion versus sauce piquant. Come on back. Oh, y'all come. But don't you put the spoon in that fish. Listen, guys, whenever you put the fish in the pot, no more spoons, okay? You drive the bus. You drive the bus. You just twist your pot like that because you don't want to break up that fish. But hey, welcome back From the Bayou to the World. I'm Kurt. This is it. So we got a little bit of Courtboullion, and you can see I'm putting it on the side of the rice right here. But you can see it's a thinner consistency. It's like a bisque almost. Just like that. Beautiful, beautiful. Look at this. Some gorgeous goldfish fillets. Look at here. Only that right over that rice. Put this down right here and bring it over. Clean my plate up a little bit. Look at that. How beautiful. Put me some green onions on top of that. Put me some green onions in the pot. And then we have our chicken and sausage sauce piquant. The smell. Now this one you could stir around. It's chicken after all. But look at the color. Look at the color of this rusty, beautiful red gravy. Lord. And give me a little piece of thigh right here. So this is the difference between a sauce piquant and a Courtboullion. And as you can see, come here, you. As you can see, the sauce piquant is much thicker, much richer. The color is radically different. Look at that. Put me the green onion right there. So whether it's Courtboullion or sauce piquant, just make sure you make it with love. Take your time and make yourself one of these beautiful dishes. We got to thank Gilbert's Greatest Foods, makers of Louisiana Love, for sponsoring this episode of From the Bayou to the World. Join us next time on From the Bayou to the World, where the coffee's always on and the door is never locked.